Once upon a time, there lived a very rich man. He had 3 daughters. 2 of them were really greedy and self-centered girls, but the 3rd one had a heart full of love and kindness. One day, their dad received the news that his ships had sunk due to the storm. Poor man had lost everything and was left with only his little house in the village. The 2 greedy sisters were of course not pleased with this situation. All day long, all they were doing was sitting around and complaining. All the housework was left to Beauty. After a while, their father heard that one of his lost ships had made it to the harbour. He started to prepare to go to the harbour right away. And before he left, he asked his daughters,
"What should I bring you when I get back, girls?"
"Dress, shoes, necklace and bracelets."
"And what about you, Beauty? What do you want?"
"Just the rose is fine, Daddy." Their father arrived at the harbour after a long journey, but neither his stuff on the boat was there, nor was the ship usable. Sad and tired, he started his journey back home. It was almost dark when he reached the forest. The forest was dark and cold, and it was snowing. He rode his horse for hours and hours on the snow. And finally, he saw a castle with the lights on. He entered, hoping maybe they might help him. It was a weird castle. The lights were on everywhere. The dinner table was full of food, and there was fire in the chimney. But there was no one to be seen. He called out for someone, but no one answered. Finally, not being able to wait anymore, he first ate some food from the table, and then he slept in one of the beds. When he woke up in the morning, he found some new clothes next to the bed. He went downstairs. A nice breakfast was waiting for him on the table.
"This castle should belong to a fairy, or she wouldn't help me like this. I wish I could thank her."
When he was leaving the castle, he noticed the rose garden. "I could not grant my other daughter's wishes. At least I can make Beauty's wish happen," he thought to himself. Just as he picked a rose, he and his surroundings shook with a loud roar. An evil-looking lion-like beast appeared from behind the trees. The father almost fainted when he saw the beast.
"I saved your life. I fed you. I gave you new clothes. And here you are, stealing my roses. Is this how you thank me?"
The man went on his knees and begged him, said that he wanted to take one of the roses to his daughter.
"What you did will not go unpunished.
"Please forgive me."
I will forgive you with only one condition. Talk to your daughters. If one of them agrees to live here with me, I will grant your life."
The man jumped on his horse and sadly head home. When at home, the 2 greedy sisters listened to the horrific story their dad went through, but did not even hear the beast's proposal. But Beauty did not behave like her sisters. "Daddy, if you allow me, I accept to go next to the beast." The 2 sisters immediately accepted her proposal because they thought that everything that happened was her fault. Sad and hopeless, her father took Beauty and headed to the castle. When they arrived, everything was like before. The food was on the table and there was no one around. Just as they sat down and started to eat, the beast came out. Beauty started to shake out of fear. Because the beast was as scary as her father had told her, Beast asked with a soft voice,
Did you come here with your own will?
Yes.
Then in the morning, your father will go away and never come back.
When she woke up in the morning, Beauty knew that her father was gone, and she found a nice breakfast waiting for her on the table. She wandered around in the garden for a while. She felt sad when she looked at the roses. Then she went around in the castle. One of the doors was full of roses. She wondered. She opened the door and peeked inside. The room was decorated just like she would have liked, and it was full of books, flowers, and musical instruments. She thought that someone who can arrange a room like this would not hurt anybody. Then she took a book. On the book was written in gold letters, "My dear Queen, your wish is my command." I wish I could see my father now. As soon as Beauty said it, her father appeared in the mirror across the room. Beauty was so surprised. Seeing her father made her happy again. That night at dinner, Beast appeared again.
Would you let me watch you, Beauty?
You own the place. Why would you ask me?
No, you own this castle now. If you want, I can leave immediately.
Beauty was very surprised with his answer.
I want to ask you something. Do you think I'm really ugly?
At first she did not know what to say. Then she lifted her head to look at Beast and nodded as to say yes.
Well, would you marry me then?
This time Beauty answered harshly, "No." Beast turned around sad and left Beauty alone. Beast was visiting Beauty every night at dinner, and he treated her very kind. As the days passed, Beauty felt like she was getting used to Beast. I wish he wasn't that ugly. Couple months passed. Beauty was no longer scared of Beast. She even started to like him. But one day, she saw in the mirror that her father was ill. She raced next to Beast and asked him to let her go home, because she wanted to take care of her sick father.
Of course, you can go. But if you don't come back, I might die from sadness.
I will come back after a week, I promise. Beast gave Beauty a ring. When she would put this ring on her nightstand and fall asleep, she would wake up back in the castle. The next morning, she woke up in her own bed in her father's house. She ran to her father at once. When her father saw her, he was so happy that he felt better. In the afternoon, Beauty's sisters, who recently had gotten married, came to visit their father. When they found Beauty at home, they were furious with envy and anger. And they decided to play a little trick on her.
Let's make her stay here one more week. Then the beast will come and kill her.
The two sisters came next to Beauty, crying, and told her that they didn't want to be apart. Beauty promised to stay, one more week. Not long after, Beauty realized that she missed Beast. One day she saw a dream where Beast was lifeless on the ground in the castle's garden. She woke up in a sweat.
What I'm doing is cruel and selfish.
So she immediately took the ring off her finger, put it on the nightstand beside her, and she woke up in the Beast's castle in the morning. She waited for the Beast all day long, but he was nowhere to be seen. She waited for hours and hours, but Beast did not come. Suddenly, she went running into the garden. Beast was lying down lifeless on the ground, just like she saw in her dream. Beauty ran next to him and hugged him. Beast's heart was still beating. He rarely opened his eyes and spoke with difficulty.
I thought you weren't coming back. I stopped eating and prepared to die.
But I love you, and I want to marry you.
At that instant, something magical happened. Suddenly, the castle became brighter and more beautiful. Beauty looked around stunned, and then she turned her head back to the Beast. But where the ugly Beast was lying, now there was a young and handsome prince. When she saw him, Beauty started to cry.
Who are you? And where did the Beast go?
Prince stood up and started to tell.
I am the Beast. An evil witch put a spell on me. She turned me into an ugly beast. If you hadn't said that you wanted to marry me, I would have had to live my life as a beast forever.
When she heard this, Beauty was much happier. With her good heart, she found true love. Beauty and the prince got married and lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom full of happiness. And in that kingdom lived a king and queen that had only one wish, and that one wish was to have a child. The king and the queen were very kind people, so they knew in their hearts that one day their wish would come true. And one day, soon enough, their wish came true. They were blessed with a baby girl.
Because she was as bright as the sun that light up the day, they named the little princess Sunshine. The king and the queen decided to have a big ball to celebrate their joy and birth of Sunshine.
Everyone was invited, even the fairies living in the mystery forest. But the king and the queen made a big mistake. They forgot to invite one fairy in particular.
Everyone from all around the kingdom and the kings and queens from the neighboring kingdoms presented their gifts and best wishes to Sunshine. And last but not least, it was time for the 12 fairies. The fairies gave incredibly unique presents to Sunshine. With their magic wands, they gifted Sunshine with anything she could want in the world. In the end, only 3 fairies remained to give their presents. And they also gave wonderful presents to Sunshine.
May the beauty of the world be with you at all times.
Little princess, my gift is eternal happiness. May you never be sad and always be happy.
Just as the last fairy was going to present her gift, something very unexpected happened. The whole ballroom was suddenly covered in green smoke. And when the smoke was gone, the black fairy appeared. The king asked who this fairy was, crashing this beautiful ceremony. The other fairies immediately recognized her.
It was the evil-hearted Black Fairy! So, I see that everyone is invited. All the people in the kingdom. Your friends, kings, queens, and the fairies. But unfortunately, I was not invited. The king apologized for their unpolite behavior. Well, I will not leave this beautiful little princess without a truly unique gift of mine. The most beautiful princess will grow surrounded with happiness, love and admiration, but on her 16th birthday, just before sunset, she will poke herself with a needle and she will be gone forever. Seize that monster, yelled out the king, but the Black Fairy disappeared with her evil laughter. It was the last fairy's turn to give her gift. She was not as powerful as the Black Fairy, but she wished for something which could at least lighten up the bad curse. I cannot prevent the curse, but I can affect the outcome. May you not die when the curse unfolds, but go in a deep sleep and wake up with a kiss of true love. My gift to you. The king, with the attempt to prevent this bad curse from happening, ordered every needle, sewing machine, or anything that even resembled a needle to be collected and burned in the courtyard of the castle. With the gifts of the fairies, Princess Sunshine grew as a beautiful and kind child that everybody loved. One day, her dad, the king, ordered 3 fairies to take care and guard Sunshine, which has proven to be a rather difficult task for them, because Sunshine was not going to be in touch with anyone but the 3 fairies. Sunshine grew up to be a very beautiful young girl with her guardian fairies. Finally, the day arrived. It was the 16th birthday of Princess Sunshine. It was only until the sunset before Black Fairy's curse was going to unfold. The king and the queen did everything they could to prevent the curse from happening, but they were still worried that it would happen anyway. They locked up the beautiful princess in a room in order to protect her. But having no idea what was going on, Sunshine was not pleased with being locked up. Suddenly, a door appeared in the wall. Sunshine was mesmerized by this door she had never seen before, and she heard weird noises coming behind the door. Curious and unaware of what was going to happen, she entered the door. In the room she entered, there was a woman sewing with her back turned to the door. And Sunshine walked spellbound towards the sewing machine. Just as the sun was setting, the Black Fairy's curse unfolded and Sunshine reached out to the needle. And at that moment, it happened. With only a touch of the needle, she fell down and dozed into her eternal sleep. And there it was. At sunset, Black Fairy's spell was cast on Sunshine's 16th birthday. They dressed her up with her most beautiful outfit and put her on a bed of flowers. So started the days where Sunshine would be known as the Sleeping Beauty. The king and the queen wanted to stop the pain, so they decided to put everyone in the castle to sleep until the time the princess wakes up. 100 years passed. One day, a handsome prince was passing nearby, and he saw the castle covered with thorned bushes and ivy.
His men told the stories about the castle and the Sleeping Beauty. It really excited the prince, so he decided to go in the castle. The bushes were too thick and the thorns made it almost impossible to go over. So he threw his sword and started opening his way by cutting up the bushes. Cutting his way through, he finally came to the door and he saw 2 guards at the door sleeping. He opened the door and was stunned by the view. There were people on the floor everywhere he could see. He started to walk around the castle and he came to the king's room. The king and the queen also were sleeping on their sofa. Then he saw a room with a half-open door. He entered. This was the room where the Sleeping Beauty was sleeping on a beautiful bed of flowers. The prince came next to the bed, looked at the beautiful princess and leaned over to her ear.
You're the famous Sleeping Beauty. You're so beautiful,
whispered the prince, feeling overwhelmed with love. He kissed her on her forehead. At that moment, she opened her eyes and saw the handsome prince looking at her. With her awakening, everyone in the castle woke up from their 100 years of sleep.
The king and the queen were in a great shock. They woke up and ran to Sunshine's room to see what was going on. And when they saw their beautiful daughter awake, they were full of joy and happiness.
The prince asked the Sleeping Beauty to marry him. The princess smiled at him and accepted his proposal. And the king, of course, gave his blessing to the prince who saved his daughter and his kingdom. They had the most beautiful ceremony anyone had ever seen. And they all lived happily ever